Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. Jamaica, that beautiful country in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, where is every little but vital. Of course, so this hour is sponsored by Spectrum Insurance Brokers, setting the industry's standard. And also a fast-rich group of companies located at 77 to 79 Malines Road, Kingston, where quality and affordability rule. All right, coming up right now is Technology Talk with the technology man, Mr. Andre Mundy.
Morning,
And he's
Vernon.
coming up from the clouds, yes, and he's landing 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Morning, Vernon. How are you doing?
It takes a long for land, but what we get like he gets stuck up in that cloud. Oh, he's landing. Oh yeah, his my ears giving me trouble. My brother, how are you today?
Not bad, not bad.
It's great to have you. Again, I must give you a little upstairs probably. We can talk about it next week. I see where
Sure.
Mr. Hold on. I'm going to get myself into trouble. Oh, please, Mr. Pei Wang teaches artificial general intelligence class at Temple University. That's in Philadelphia. He said here that there
Mm.
is a race on the way to build artificial general intelligence, a futuristic vision of machines that are broadly what? Smart as humans, or at least can do many things as well as people can, achieving such a concept commonly referred to as AGI is the driving mission of ChatGPT. What a thing.
Well, artificial intelligence is now the catchword of the day. So
Yes,
you understand, everybody is integrating artificial intelligence
yes.
into whatever they are doing. Yes, artificial intelligence has been taught at the universities for a long time. As we
Mm-hmm.
know, it's basically the concept of how we are able to teach or get computers to learn and behave like how humans do,
Mm-hmm.
right? And make decisions, based on how we make decisions. Because just as I mean, we're looking at computers as kind of like beings now. We kind of live with them every day with computers. So we're now
It
moving
look like the
towards
computers living with us now.
exactly. So we're now moving to a time where the computers are an integral part of our life. Every day, you have companies putting out new computers to integrate artificial intelligence. You see
Right.
that software being put out there integrating artificial intelligence, being able to help you along as you do your work every day. You ask it questions, it returns. If you remember Star Trek back in the day, you used to ask the computer, tabulate, what's the time that it's going to take us to reach? So that is how we're looking at computers now, to be able to just pose a question to it, and it will just know where to get information from and pull together a direct, or
So we
a
are going to put them in the
response time.
parish councils. Artificial, are you going to put robots are in the parish councils and in parliament? So when they ask them a question, you don't get
Hmm.
stupid answers. Ah,
Well, yes, we can then, when we get the
you know, I
technology
love to
a little
make trouble.
more avail, we can then find applications to put
Hmm.
them to. But today, what I wanted to speak to our listeners about was, something really simple.
Yeah.
Um, to our business owners, they're buying hardware from time to time, and a lot of times, they may put it down to, somebody else in the organization to do it, but for themselves, they should at least know what you're looking for if you're going out for a printer. So how do you choose your printer for your business? First of all, you assess your printing needs. So you need to determine the volume and the types of documents that you need to print regularly. So you're looking at whether you're going to print color stuff, or whether you're going to print what we call duplex printing, whether you're going to print on two sides of the paper, what size paper, because you may have, I mean, everybody used to letter size paper. You have legal paper. You also have those what we call tabloids, or even bigger mediums
I
that you
have
may require.
cards and business cards. Oh, yeah.
Cards, envelopes. Everybody think you can throw any kind of paper inside any printer. That is why you may get a paper jam every now and again. You have printers designed specifically to print on these thick pieces of mediums, the cards, the thick cards.
Oh,
So you so you want to think about that too when
oh, so if you're going to print and thick, the kind of paper, the thickness and so on, you have to take that into consideration. That
you
is
also
interesting.
have to take that into
Mm.
consideration. You also need to take into consideration your speed of your printing. Some companies also take into consideration that they may want copies of, like, say, receipt, many copies at one time, in which you print on papers that has that carbon copy. And if you're buying a printer, to create that carbon copy, you would have to use what we call an impact printer, which basically hits the paper
Right.
hard, able to make an
Print
imprint
out properly.
on the other side. So
By the
because
way, you talk about time. Yes, you mentioned something that many persons don't know. That the specifications is in prints per minute, black and white or
exactly
color.
pages per minute. These are
Well,
the things that you're supposed to
I'm
look
going
out
to tell
for.
you a story. I was somewhere. That's why the management need to understand and learn from those who are lower down the ladder. Because sometimes management think they know it all. I was printing some letters at a company that I worked. I was the IT president, and printing redundancy letters. I try to remember. You talking about was about 2000.
Hopefully not yours.
That's what I never forget that feeling. Because I was asked, oh yes. Anyhow, I was told, VP said, Mr. Dab, that has to be finished by that time tomorrow morning. I just looked
Hmm.
at him and said, no, it cannot be done. He looked at me. Hey, me no, I'm telling you it must be done. I said, sir, it cannot be done. This printer prints. I mean, I just sat down because it was really annoying. I don't sound
Hmm.
foolish. I just sat down, had the specifications. I worked out in Excel. You had print so much per minute. You have 2,000
Hmm.
prints to do. During that time, you have to change this so and so, so and so. So I worked out
Right,
that will
right,
take
right.
about 12 hours. So I said, sir,
Logical reasoning.
so I just gave him, I said, you cannot get it before such a time. Well, he had to shut up. And the other executives had to shut up. So you're
Right. So
absolutely right.
definitely, you had to identify the print speed of what resources that you have, and
Mhm.
basically, you have printers that you have high speed printers, and you have, so those would be suitable for something like that.
And
Also,
lasers will be fast, right? Laser printers. But
lasers would definitely be faster, and also you need to consider the the cost of it.
laser
Also,
is
if you
expensive,
realize
yes.
that if you're running a business, what we call inkjet printers, those are the printers that you just buy. It's widely sold. You go inside Price Mark or one of those places, you pick up a printer and you buy
And
the
I'm going
ink
to
for it.
charge you for that advertisement.
Sorry. Well, you should probably
Moving right along.
approach them. So you pick up a ink, but you realize you probably print 20 pages and you need new ink, and your cost for the ink is $5,000-$6,000,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you
Oh, and
realize that.
sometimes the finding probably costs as much or probably more than the printer
Right.
itself.
So if you're a person that does a lot of printing, it would not be viable for you to go and buy a printer like that, because you're going to be
I
printing
tell you something
hundreds of
else,
pages.
Andre, is that I think you can help with this. Many times we buy printers for the office that are intended for the home. They're not intended for that sort of heavy duty work.
Exactly. The heavy duty printing, I mean, it was just not made for that. So
Yes.
basically, you need to know and evaluate the type of printing that you're going to do. If it's at home and you may print a letter every week or so, yeah, you can grab one of those. But if it's for your office and you're going to be pushing out invoices every day, hundreds of them, that would not be the printer for you. You also need to know to consider what kind of infrastructure that you have in your office.
Yes.
If you have USB, you have Wi-Fi, or it's strictly Ethernet, you need to know that your printer can easily connect to these things.
Whether it's
Most of the
wireless and
time,
so on.
right? Whether it's wire, whether it can take a wire, an Ethernet port inside of there, or whether it needs to
And
be connected to
another
a
thing, just so I
computer.
have to rush because the time is good. Sorry about that. But we can probably touch it again next week. We have to because these things person want to hear about it again and again. Another thing, when you get like a home printer, which is wireless, and you can print from your phone, that can be so handy when you have a document on your phone you want to print.
Right, right, right. And you have a whole heap of different printers on now. Many features that they offer, scanning, and
Yes.
right, so which you call multifunctional printers, right? So there's a
Except
lot
when
of
one
printers that
facility not working, might as well throw away the whole printer.
well, that is true, but
Yes.
a lot of business want to be able to can go one place and do everything.
Mm.
So that is why multifunctional printers is normally a printer that most people go out there. Laser printers you tend to move to if you want to do a lot of printing, because you're able to get turnover of like over 2,000 pages, per month, and without having to change the toner too often,
Okay.
depending on what you're printing,
You have to
right?
look at the cost
So
of your toner too.
cost of the toner might be a little bit more, but definitely the amount of printing that you are able to get out of a toner is way more than if you're going out to go buy an ink. By the time you finish one of the toners, you probably buy 10, 15 ink.
Ah, and another thing I must say, hold on, we'll have a minute left, is that when you buy a printer, you use it, it's best to restrict the printing so you go deal with things electronically. Because if you add the cost of ink and everything, you're going to find
Right,
that to
right,
print
right,
one
right. But
sheet of paper.
there are a lot of old school people out there. They want to feel the paper, see the paper. To do.
When I cut you
Yes,
off for
it's
the
still a
program,
valid option.
if I'm me, I come drop word for me, I cut you off. Anyway,
No, no, no.
anyway
All right, but
we have to learn to give you a contact before you leave. And by the way, you
sure,
will
definitely.
either ask
As
me to
usually,
you repeat
yeah.
what you said this week because these things we can't say one time.
Right. So you can always get in touch with me via email at intesol@techproject.com. That's intesprojects.com, or telephone me at 876-849-6167.
Thank you, my friend. You have a wonderful day. Andre Monteith, and guess what? But he just told you a while ago, if you go to a seminar, you'd have to pay a few $1,000s for that. So, management, workers, you make sure you don't miss this program. Next week, same time, we will have you. Thank you very much, Andre Monteith on Technology Talk. All right, we're going to go for the break. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon Darby coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, that beautiful, beautiful Caribbean country. Yes, what we said? I guess I really got to tell about, but it's really beautiful, friendly people. So, you check it out. So come back. Don't move.
It's now time for Sports in a Minute, sponsored by Edgechem, Western Sports, Megamart, Spectrum Insurance Brokers, D'Angelo Auto Spears and Accessories Limited, and Fosrich.
Al Nassr forward Cristiano Ronaldo was sent off for elbowing an opponent during his side's 2-1 Saudi Arabia Cup semi-final defeat by Al Hilal. Ronaldo 39 was shown a straight red card in the 86th minute after appearing to swing his elbow twice into the chest of Ali Bola, who fell to the floor. The Portugal international then appeared to raise his fist towards the referee before leaving the field. It's Ronaldo's first red card since joining El Nassr in December 2022. And that's your Sports Minute.
Sports in a Minute was sponsored by Edgechem, changing lives 1 gallon at a time. Western Sports, the sports people. Megamart, best value by far. Spectrum Insurance Brokers, setting the industry standard. D'Angelo Auto Spears and Accessories Limited at 20 Balmoral Avenue, Kingston 10, and shop number 10, 1A Chapelton Road. Call 876-929-9146. And Fosrich.
Listen up, Jamaica. At Fosrich, everybody's getting a solar water heater. $20,000 deposit. 6 months to pay. What a deal! Fosrich Financing.
We may be all over the world, but we're still in this together. Feel, make it easy for you get your money. So if you have to get a thing from your brother or mommy, hey, it's a not Insta, it's a MoneyGram. Zoom, Ria, check your phone, your money land. VNBS money transfer, safer, faster, easier. Sign up for VNBS direct to bank account transfer today. No matter step out, fit in the line, straight in your account, money reach long time. VNBS money transfer.
Super Center, everything for your home and more.
Whether you are redecorating your home, looking for a gift idea, or simply feel for some retail therapy, Asden Supercenter is the place to be. Regal Plaza Kingston and Linston. We have it all. From linens and curtains to appliances and cookware, furniture, rugs, and wall decor. It's everything for your home and more.
Asden Super Center, we're gonna make you smile. Make you smile. Asden Super Center, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
For financial news and the latest developments in the business community and economy, Financially Speaking is the top choice. Join me, your host Errol Gregory, Mondays and Wednesdays at 12:30 p.m. as we look at current economic issues, provide small business tips, and help you to build your business and portfolio. That's Financially Speaking, sponsored by Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSC Online Trading.
Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. Today, April 10, 2024, and getting ready for the People's Lawyer. And where is the People's Lawyer? He has never left us at all. He's always with us. Where's the People's Lawyer?
Good morning, Mr. Darby. Good
The
morning to you
People's
and
Lawyer.
your listeners.
Good morning, my friend. He's always with us. By the way, I had some questions if you saw my message.
Yes, we can discuss them. We had mentioned them before, but we
Yes.
can certainly
What I
discuss
want
them
is,
again.
for myself and for the public, because listen, people are confused. I'm interested in some clarification, which I must admit I've did a little bit of checking and I have some information, but I just want to make sure I double check with you. One, for example, persons are we talking about listeners? We're talking about the controversy there in Gordon House, as you've probably been following what has been happening with the Speaker of the House and also the former clerk who has retired since. And a number of groups have been making calls on the Speaker to take certain actions. But I realize that many persons don't understand certain relationships, so I think I'd love us, Wendell, to go through them. And the first one, which I gather, Wendell, that the clerk is not a civil servant. And that is what is called because that she's a civil servant.
I didn't hear that. The clerk is not.
Yes, that's my clear understanding that she's not a civil servant. She's appointed by the Governor General on the recommendation of the Speaker, and her services can be terminated as per the Constitution by the House of Parliament. So she really reports to Parliament. She's not like the civil servants who, I mean, I look for the sound in the background here. Not like the public servants who are appointed by the Services Commission. And that would make a big difference because, well, I did check and I understand she's not a member of the Civil Service Association because the head of the Civil Service Association spoke, and I think other person said something to the effect that politicians should not be speaking to civil servants, but my text has revealed that this is not so because she's not a civil servant.
What is happening here, and I want to speak generally because I don't have all the facts and
Right.
I've done the research. But there are two lanes operating here,
Yeah.
and we have to be very clear about the lanes. And the legal proposition and the legal position in law is that you have to stay in your lane.
Right.
One lane is administrative matters, running of the workplace. Somebody's in charge, okay? So administrative and decision making and performance is in that lane. A defined lane, and there's usually a reporting mechanism, conversational mechanism, up and down some ladder or hierarchy at
Yeah.
the workplace. Good. The other matter now, which is a different lane, is disciplinary
Right.
proceedings.
Which I heard you, and I think you're absolutely correct. And when I thought about it, I said probably that's why the details were not put in the letter. But for my checking now, as Speaker of the House, she has the right to write a letter to the clerk, who actually clerk works with the Parliament, and she be the person who is, well, I say in charge of Parliament, but she is responsible for the parliamentary procedures as such. If she feels that the clerk is not performing, then she has that right to write a report on her conduct. How she does it is another matter.
No,
That is my
you have to
reading
be
of it.
careful now how you do that writing.
Yeah, man, that's how you do it is another matter.
When it comes to disciplinary matters, if you are not in that lane, that is, you are in HR,
Right.
human resource management, then what you must do is to lay a complaint. And that complaint is an allegation. It cannot be a conclusion.
Right. It has to be an allegation. Right.
A complaint of breach of this, breach of that. And it moves from your lane, that is management, executive, administrative lane, over into the disciplinary lane, where natural justice must occur.
Right,
If
that is absolutely
justice,
correct.
if natural justice does not occur, then the complaint doesn't go anywhere.
So the letter now, and I said I don't want to go into detail because I can't. I don't think I recall or even. I don't think we've been told everything. So basically, from my reading of it and talking to a number of persons, the speaker can make a report or a complaint, but the fact is, it is Parliament now which will now have to make a decision. It's the Parliament itself. When I check it to the with the Constitution, so therein lies the trouble. And persons were saying that she should not have copied the members of Parliament, but when I use my common sense and talk to a number of persons, it seemed to me that she has a responsibility to copy Parliament because the clerk reports to Parliament.
Well, as to who it will conduct the disciplinary proceedings, in other words, the investigation
Right.
into the complaint, not the conclusion, no.
No, not the conclusion. Right.
An allegation of breach of X or breach of Y or misconduct or poor performance or some such thing. There must be set up a body that is authorized to investigate, and then a body that is going to have a hearing
Right.
that is responsible for looking at what has been investigated and also to give an opportunity to the person who is accused of whatever wrongdoing, whatever breach, to have their say. And that body must not be prejudiced, biased, but must be a body that has no interest, self-interest or conflict of interest. So, as I said in opening the preamble, I don't have all the research detail about that
Right. Right.
particular matter that you're addressing, but I can speak
Generally, right.
about disciplinary
And
proceedings.
the reason I brought it up, is that I really think all the groups that are now speaking out, they need to go through in details to understand the relationships and so on. No, I even talk to you and talk to other persons. There are two things to look at. Who has the responsibility? But although you have the responsibility and the authority, when it comes to natural justice, there's a way to do things. Because I did some checking and it says the Speaker of the House recommends a person to act as clerk and deputy clerk of the lower house. That falls under section 47(2) of the Constitution. And it says also that Parliament can dismiss the clerk and or the deputy clerk of the house by a two-thirds majority vote. And Parliament can dismiss civil servants like that. So it's clear that the civil servant might be regarded as a public servant. So, but she's definitely not a civil servant. So this is kind of distinction that I'm suggesting to groups that are talking about this matter. We need to have it clear in our minds. And the copying of that letter, it is clear to me that the Speaker reports to Parliament, all parliamentarians, because if the two-thirds can vote her out, then it seems to me that if there's a report about her, the parliamentarians have to be copied. No, somebody probably, you don't know who, leaked that document to the public. Therefore, you can't blame the person who made the report and copied them. You have to probably get another story, I don't know. You have to find out who leaked that letter. And to ask the Speaker now to apologize to the person publicly because it was made public, I think that's asking a little bit too much.
Well, as I said, we have to have all the law and we have to have all the facts. And
Right.
I don't think either of us this morning have all of that.
Right. Because
So,
some
but
people are
what
not
I'm
talking,
saying-
remember, so then remember, that Mrs. Hollis, I'm hoping that I can get her one day on this program. And the clerk, well, besides the letter that she sent out, she hasn't really said anything at all. And I'm one of those who believe that when you leave the government sector, you need to write, whether it's book or something, because too many things happening in the public sector. And people just walk away like that, and therefore we lost all that knowledge of what went wrong.
Yes, but the thing is, the process, is
Yes.
what is the problem. I don't think at the end of the day, the authority to make a final decision as to whether a particular engaged person is in default or in breach. Is the problem.
Right. The
It is
process
the
of how it is
process.
done. Yeah.
Right, is the process. So in getting this process within the law, you have to have what is called a fair hearing.
A fair,
So if,
right.
for example, before the investigation is complete and a report made to the body who is going to hear the matter, the allegations are put to persons who are going to constitute the body that is going to conduct the hearing. There's a problem there because they would have gotten raw allegations and accusations, and therefore that might prejudice or bias a fair hearing. What you're supposed to do is to have an investigation of the complaint,
But Wendell,
statements collected but from everybody, and then that freshly put, now before the body that is properly constituted to hear the matter and to make a decision.
but here they don't know Wendell. This is where.
Yes.
Oh, that's why I probably have to pay sometimes. Dearly. It when persons can't get along, whether you're right or wrong, you're not gonna work, And that's why no public taxpayers have to pay because if you have to separate and so on. But then I don't know. These are the questions that I need to find out. I need to get answered, and we need to start discussing what you find happening.
Well,
People discuss a lot about.
let me address that.
Yes.
If I elected representative of the people,
Yeah.
who is now our servant, is displeased with the performance of a public servant, there is a conduit and a process to follow again here
To deal with that.
right, to deal with that matter, because the minister, the politician, the elected servant may be incorrect
But here they don't know. Here they do. This is my
in
concern,
the
Wendell.
accusation.
This
So
is
you
my.
have a process.
Oh, this is my concern now. That sometimes it's not whether the person is guilty or not. But there's a compatibility problem. We're going to break and come back with discuss that. When the minister can't get along with the permanent secretary, boy, I hope you know that too. I know that one will have to go and it will not be the minister. And it's like that. They're talking to Wendell Wilkins, the people's lawyer. We're going to go for the break. We'll come back with us, wrap up with him and spend another 5 minutes or so. Spot on. Suka back. Don't move.
Three Angels Pharmacy, the premier provider of quality pharmaceutical care, opens every day except Saturday. Located at shop number 7, 7B Caledonia Road, Mandeville, call 625-5584. The temperature by Three Angels Pharmacy is
31 degrees Celsius in New Kingston.
Tune in to German Morgan, aka Brother DJ Frisco, on your radio. Friday nights at 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. inside the Midnight Serenade Radio Show. And Saturdays and Sunday mornings inside the Kingdom Lifestyle Radio Show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. You will be motivated, blessed, and receive a word in time with DJ Frisco in the mix. Tune in, and stay connected.
Welcome back. You're listening to Spot On with Vernon. And my very special guest is the people's lawyer, Wendell Wilkins. Yes, Wendell, this is where they tire. Yes.
You have raised a very interesting matter when the minister cannot get on with a civil servant.
Or
for
the
example.
Speaker of the House cannot get along with the clerk.
Yeah, well, we're not going into posts.
Yeah.
The conflict, the potential conflict between somebody who is elected, can be a minister in your example,
Right.
and the civil servant. Now, it depends on what it is about. If it is a matter involving the performance or work of the permanent secretary or some other public servant, the public servant can only be asked job-wise
Yeah.
employment-wise to perform lawful instruction. And there are many times when the minister, because of his political route, the electoral route, and
Yeah.
the need to look good and perform, to stay in power, adopts a policy or wants something done that is not lawful. Now the civil servant has no obligation
To do that.
law
None whatsoever.
to perform that. And the minister must be told that he has to back off.
Well
to
then,
whoever that
you
is.
tell me which one is going to tell the minister.
No, but the minister will be going outside his lane or committing a criminal offense.
And especially if that
In
minister
that
is a
way,
popular
he ought
minister.
to be advised by the chief minister when it comes to his attention, and there is a legal decision by the attorney general that, my friend, my colleague, you have to back off, because what you want to implement and what you are suggesting from a policy approach or a political approach to get votes and support and to look good is unlawful.
And
Also-
Bernal, it is unlawful. So what you going to tell the minister? So is you have to go when that minister is so
No, the
powerful?
minister don't has to go. He has to reverse his policy implementation because it is either criminal or unlawful.
Boy, I wish you all the best on that one.
And if the chief minister and the
Yeah.
said minister doesn't believe it, then the matter goes to court for a judge to declare what this minister wants to do is not proper in law. Now, if it is a personality issue now, the minister operates in a certain way and
Yes,
the public
yes.
servant.
Miserable
that-
cantankerous.
Yes, that and miserable and
Yeah.
all kind of things that can be dealt with by human relations intervention.
Well,
If it
yeah.
can be resolved.
Somebody,
can be
probably
resolved
somebody to be
through-
transferred, but you have to be careful because if you transfer the person,
Yes,
to come across as if you're demoting
if
the
it cannot be
person.
resolved by the normal human relations
Yeah.
intervention, then the party, perhaps the public servant, if they are uncomfortable working with the minister, can say, send me somewhere else.
Yes.
And usually the person is accommodated somewhere else so that there can be peace and some kind of tranquility.
And if the
at
minister
that
is a law thing, that the minister what operates out of the law, then hopefully whoever replace that person will not bend.
Well, some people follow what the minister says, and get in trouble.
Why,
in trouble.
why you think you have a servant? Yes, minister. Yes, minister.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, any day I tell the minister no.
Will tell the minister in his eye, looking deep in the eye. No, minister, it cannot be done. There's no power or law to do it, and I.
And I
am
hope
not
that when you say it
doing
cannot be done, that public servant or civil servant will not be done.
Well, let us hope so. Sometimes.
But it's a difficult one though, Wendell.
Yes,
but back to that
sometimes they
same.
end up in a transfer situation.
Yes,
but once
yes,
they don't lose their emoluments and their benefits, usually
no
they
problem.
take it.
Because as one
it's
civil
for a
servant
fee.
tell me, politicians come and politicians go. So there's a change in that mean you never can tell you back at square one, where you were before. But Wendell,
so
I think this matter
sometimes people go elsewhere for peace sake
for peace sake.
and things settle down.
Because it's not nice to be in a fight with a political person. No, it's not nice. Unless you're crazy like some person.
But we must not be afraid of politicians.
But if the
They
people
must stay within the law, and once they issue lawful instructions and it can be done, then the public servant is to carry it out.
right.
But sometimes the minister or the politician who is a servant of the people goes outside of what is lawful or sometimes end up over in a direction of the criminal side.
But before you go, so Wendell, I'm pushing for this thing with the speaker because I think it might lead to some need to change our constitution. And that's what I'm concerned about. And that's why I wish that many of these NGOs would discuss more issues and the system, how it is working and not working. Because we're getting into a personality thing, and what you will happen, you will be targeted and saying, oh, you're a puppet for the PMP, so that's why you're pressuring so and so. So I'd advise my friends, because I need their support too. We have to be very careful, especially when you're calling for persons to apologize and so on. And by the way, when you call for somebody to apologize, whether they apologize or not, if they don't believe it, is neither here nor there. So I think it's a waste of time calling for people to apologize. What you're really doing is calling them to kill them ego. If they don't believe in apologizing, they just do it out of convenience.
Yeah, but if there is a dispute that continues, the Attorney General, is to advise.
Who appoints the Attorney General?
The Chief Minister.
You understand how the system works,
Attorney
Wendell?
General is a professional.
Hold on.
He's a
Wendell,
professional person.
the judges in even the states that we love to look to sometimes is appointed by various presidents. And it is alleged that depending on which party appoints.
Our system is different.
I know.
We don't have the American system.
No, I'm only so giving that example. So what I'm telling you, whether you're professional or not, it really depends on how you were brought up. Because you could have professional. There's talk about one member of the profession, legal profession, who made an assault a lawyer. There's one who have done certain things and suspended. So I don't hold water for me for anybody. I've heard doctors behave in certain ways. So awesome. Mass Wendell been in trouble now. You see, all me have to follow the rules.
All right, we will continue next week.
Yes, and
Thanks for the opportunity.
do some more checking about that one, because it is possible though. And if you see where the Constitution needs to be changed, that sometime out of this problem, you see needs for it to be Constitution to be changed.
I agree. So you know where to send your comments and your suggestions.
Right. And of course, you can always call us. Let me just tell you, 876. Lord have mercy, that committee. Oh, by the way, before you go, Wendell, I'm in trouble, Somebody, an NGO, said to me that, these persons, government should organize the education. I said, listen, if I'm in charge of government and I have a particular philosophy, I'm going to educate the people along that line. NGOs are the private sector, and they need to throw up some money and have persons out there educate us about the Constitution. Don't depend on government.
The Constitutional Reform Committee is to be doing their public education with taxpayers' money.
I would not depend on it. No, sir. Not depend, because they won't give for them line. Anyway, Wendell.
All right.
Great talking to my brother. All the best at Wendell Wilkins, the people's lawyer. And time is really slipping by. And let me see now. Yeah, it's time for weather. Of course, there is a significant feature, a ridge across Jamaica. The ridge is expected to remain through Thursday. On Friday, a trough is expected to briefly move across Jamaica, with the ridge quickly building afterwards. 24-hour forecast. This morning, partly cloudy across eastern Parishes, otherwise mainly sunny. This afternoon, isolated showers across western Parishes, otherwise partly cloudy and windy. Tonight, partly cloudy. And I've invited my friends at the meteorological office to join me one day. They need to come and explain some of these things, because we hear these things announced about a ridge and a trough and all kind of things. And I can tell you the average person don't have a clue what it means, yes? Even those who say we're educated, we will not admit it. But if I ask somebody out there, what's a trough? They don't know. What's a ridge? They don't know. That's not all. So I will need to do a bit of education. All right, so guess what now? We have the most honorable PJ Patterson is celebrating his birthday today. So, Mr. PJ, how you do? I can't say it on here, but I tell you, I used to give him trouble when he was Prime Minister, when I was a performer then, yes. But if you call me off here, I will tell you what I used to call him. But I won't do that today. I'll be nice to Mr. PJ Patterson. Well, that reminds me of our Sister Portia Simpson. Husband, if you're listening, a long time I don't talk to you people, man. I wish her all the best and continue to give her full support. Yes. But don't forget Sister P at all. And it reminds me of somebody else, but tomorrow I can mention that. Tamisha Weirgrand, somebody who I've worked with for many years when she was at the Accountant General Department. I hear now that she's at the Ministry of Finance, so she have work for money, so she don't talk to me again. Tanisha, you have a wonderful day. And before I leave, I can't forget that at all. We want to thank all our sponsors, our guests, staff here, sales and administrative, security, receptionists, everybody, those who run the station. And this hour was sponsored by Spectrum Insurance Brokers, setting the industry standard, and Fosrich Group of Companies located at 77 to 79 Malines Road, Kingston, Jamaica. And let me now leave you with this one. Anyone who benefits from the oppression of someone knowingly has no interest to stop doing it. He has to be stopped. Vernon Darby saying to you, have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Nicholas. Yes, you are going good together, my friend. Thank you very much. And this my friend, Pastor Boyd. I'm not too sure if she's standing or she's sitting. That's always a problem for me. Because guess what? Two of us are the same height, you know. All right, remember, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Walk good.